Hi. I've been to the Eras Tour twice since we last spoke, and I'm telling you that now. In case it comes up, I haven't been able to shut up about it. I'm just gonna try to focus on books now. To be fair, I didn't read that many. I only read 4. In case you've been keeping up with me, if you saw my last video, you will know that I went to Scotland in the beginning of this month. And, well, I don't go on trips without buying books, so I got some books there, so I'm gonna do a book haul after this. First, I will get into the books I read, though. This is The Living Mountain by Nan Shepard. That's actually not, is that the first book I read this month? That accounts for how few books I read this month because this took me ages. I took this to Scotland with me because it's about the Cairngorms, which are in Scotland. I went there and I wanted to have this book finished by the time that we actually got to the Cairngorms because it was at the end of our trip. That's not how it happens. I did not read much at all on said trip, but I did read some of this, and when I got home, I just read the rest of it in a slower pace. I had another voice drop this month. I can feel how different it is now. I feel it. My mom was laughing at me this weekend. I think she thought I was doing this on purpose. I'm not. This is my voice now. It feels weird, but anyway, I got through this book. It was surprisingly hard to read. I don't know why. Well, it wasn't meant to be read in a speedy way. It was meant to be experienced the way that the mountains can be experienced in a slow pace. It's very much about like appreciating mountains and not just trying to get to the top of them in a record time or whatever, but about actually appreciating everything that's on the mountain, everything that's living on the mountain, the plants and the animals and the people too. I thought it was a beautiful little book. Sadly, I didn't get to read all of it in Scotland, but it was a nice memory of Scotland when I got home. So yeah, it was good. Afterward by Jeanette Winterson, which is why I read it. One of you guys recommended this book to me. I don't know if you recommended it, but someone said that they knew Jeanette Winterson from the afterword of this book, and I saw it was about Scotland, so I wanted to read it, and I did. And thank you to that person because it was great to experience the mountains in this way because I feel like I haven't seen as much of the Cairngorms specifically in the way that Nan Shepard has, having lived there her entire life. The next book I finished was Deep Deep Blau by Nikki Decker, which I've been wanting to read since I've had it, since 2022. That's a while ago, but I finally read it, and I'm happy to say that this is, I think, my favorite Dutch book I've ever read. I'm pretty sure about that. This book has a lot of sea animal and sea life facts in it. My brain is so scattered today. I don't know. I'm tired. I don't know why, but it's hard to talk. I'm just gonna do my best. The anecdotes and the information about sea animals were used as a metaphor, like a different one every chapter for like a different life experience in the main character's bisexual life. And I thought that was a great way to tell it. I did have a little bit of grief with the structure of this because it was kind of just a mess. I would have appreciated some kind of chronology to hold on to because I was missing out on who some people were, what the relationships were. I couldn't really keep track of it all, but then again, I was having a blast with the sea life facts, so maybe that was enough, to be honest. And I really liked the writing, so that was great. Yeah, if you're Dutch, it's not been translated sadly, but go on. Then I read another autism book. I'm not going to say too much about it. It was pretty basic. It was good, though. Like, this is something I would let someone in my family read if they wanted to know more about autism. But, like, other than that, it doesn't really go in depth or anything. It's not that interesting, I guess. The last book I just finished today, I haven't even said what day it was. It's July 8th today, and that only matters because I was on tea for 7 months yesterday. Sorry, I usually do these on the day. This weekend just didn't work out that way. Anyway, yeah, so I actually finished this today on the train. It's The Sense of an Ending. I mostly read this because my ex had this book, and I always loved the title, The Sense of an Ending. That's a beautiful title, and I've always been very curious what it's about. And so when I saw it at the library, with the thought in mind that I wanted to read more men this year, I was like, I should just pick that up. It's very slim, so I figured I'd read it in a very short amount of time, and I did, because the writing is very pleasant to read. Let's just say it like that. I ripped through it with a lot of distractions surrounding me. It was very easy to get through, which I always appreciate. However, the story, it had potential. This is about a man who gets a, oh my god, I can't even find any words today. Oh my god, can you just say the one word that I'm looking for? Inheritance? Like when someone dies and you get something from them. Well, this guy, someone dies and he gets something from her, and he didn't see that coming because he hasn't seen this woman in ages, and like literally 40 years. And so it's like curious, and he kind of becomes obsessed with finding out why he got this thing that he got. Which, spoiler alert, is a diary from a friend from high school who killed himself a couple of years after they met. And it's a whole thing. The point is, he gets kind of obsessed with trying to find out what happened to this diary, why he got it, and everything. Actually, I don't think we actually found out why he got it, but anyway, it's a whole thing. And in the end, there was this plot twist that just was so fucking stupid to me that I was like, okay, and like, I just didn't really care about it. The characters. They were annoying. There was this one woman who was just like not speaking to him the entire time, which was fair because he was badgering the shit out of her for no fucking reason. And then the only thing she ever said to him was like, you just don't get it. You just don't get it. Like, of course he doesn't fucking get it if that's all that you say to him. Like, maybe explain something to him. That was so fucking annoying. And in the end, when the plot twist came around, like, he didn't even, like, was he just supposed to smell that? Like, it didn't make any fucking sense that she would treat him that way. And it was just so fucking annoying to me. It was just like, that whole, like, tension and mystery, it was all there solely for this plot twist to come in at the end. And the plot twist didn't make sense. I didn't like it. I gave it 3 stars on Goodreads, but I think I might reduce it to 2 because it just kind of felt like a waste of time, even though I did rip through it, and I do appreciate that in a book every now and then, especially when I've only read 4 this month. And there were some good quotes in there about getting older, but like in the end, if the ending doesn't wrap it up well, then it just kind of pisses me off. So that's what happened here. Anyway, onto the book haul. Let's see if I can remember everything about this trip. You know, people have been talking about Taylor Swift amnesia, where like people go to the Era store and then they start forgetting things, like immediately, just start having blackouts. That hasn't really happened to me about the Era store, but everything else just kind of seems... It's also because it happened this weekend, and yeah, I'm just tired over that, I think. It was a lot of exertion of energy, and now I'm drained. I'm gonna try to recall the details from my trip in Edinburgh to try and figure out where I got all these books from. It's a good thing I wrote it down, though. The first bookshop I went to was Armchair Books in Edinburgh. They're all in Edinburgh. I also got a tote bag there because it was cute. It has like a crocodile kind of creature on it who's sitting in an armchair and reading. It's cute. Anyway, it's a secondhand bookshop. It's really cute. Their selection was excellent. They had so many doubles of like good books. I don't think I've ever been in a secondhand bookshop that has a selection that's that good. The first book I found there was, it has a French title. Why'd they do me like that? It is English. It's by Simone de Beauvoir. I got it because I like... I love The Woman Destroyed, and I like The Inseparables. I'm just trying to find out where the vibe is with me and Simone de Beauvoir, if I love or like her. That's what's happening here. That's what I'm trying to figure out, so I bought another one. Another one I found, and this is one that they had a lot of editions of. Not editions, just copies of. And this is one that was on Jeanette Winterson's favorite book list that I found on the internet. And I've been looking for this one because I didn't have it in the library and I couldn't find it anywhere new either, which is strange. But they had like 9 copies of it at Armchair Books, and it's this one, Ages for Hawk, which is about a woman and her hawk, I believe. It sounds cool. It sounds like they have a connection in some kind of way, and I'm very interested in it. I might read this quite soon because I do love it, like nature vibe. And I think that that's what we have going on here. So that's going to be fun. Then, okay, my phone ran out of storage. I had to delete some shit. Anyway, then I went to Lighthouse Bookshop, which is a radical bookshop in Edinburgh. And it was very nice. Wait, this is not... they had a very nice selection. They had a bookcase full of Palestinian wrecks, but they were mostly, oh my god, words. They've just left my mind. They were mostly non-fiction, and I wanted fiction. So I went up to the person who was working there and I asked for a recommendation of Palestinian fiction. And he pulled through, like, he took me to a bookcase, he pulled out this book, he explained to me how good it was, how well researched it was, and how it made him cry for days. So I was sold. Great book selling skills that man had. It's called Against the Loveless World. I think I have seen this around before. I actually know I have seen this around before because it was already on my TBR on Goodreads. I noticed when I got home, so that's good. I'm very excited to read this at some point soon. Then I went to another bookshop called Tales Bookshop, which was a bit out of the city center, but I'm glad I went to it anyway because it was really cute. The thing about them was they were a mostly secondhand bookshop, but they had a very small selection of new books, and they were all either queer or translated. And I thought that was so cool of them because that's the only books that I want to buy new anyway. So I found this book there. It's called The Adventures of China Iron, or I guess China Iron, because it's an Argentinian book about a non-binary person in the 1800s with a Scottish girlfriend. At that point, I was like, okay, those are all my interests combined. Argentina, Scotland, queer people on the run. I believe they're like outlaws or something. I don't know anything else about it, but I will be reading this soonish. And I'm very excited about it because it seems like great fun. Yeah, I didn't go to any other bookshops after that. I did actually go to a lot of bookshops. It's just that most of them only had new books, or I couldn't find anything that I was interested in. So I only ended up buying at these 3 bookshops. And the last 2 books that I bought were secondhand from the Tills bookshop. And the first is The End of Eddie by Edouard Louis. I read a book of his for one of my classes earlier this year called Who Killed My Father? And I liked it a lot. So I was interested to read more of him. And they had this book in that bookshop. So I was like, that's mine now. We'll read that at some point. And then I went to the poetry section to look at the O, which I always do because I'm always trying to find a Mary Oliver collection. Just any will do. And so I got 1,000 Mornings. I think it was the only one they had. So yeah, I just went with that. I actually don't know why I haven't started this yet, because I find that it's very soothing to the brain to start each morning with a poem by the window or on the balcony to just like get the brain started up. I'll be doing that again. That was my book haul. That was everything I read this month. Edinburgh was great. Scotland was great. I miss it. The second I got home, I wanted to go back. It was one of the greatest trips I've ever taken. So I'll just say that. I don't have brain energy left to rave about it, but just trust me, that and Taylor Swift has been all that I've been talking about for a month now. So I think that's it for now. Hope you all had a good month. I know I did. And see you next time. Bye.